Hello, you are listening to the Childcare Director's Chair podcast. Your host, Erica Saccoccio, invites you to join her community of passionate and inspiring leaders in the ECE field, where she discusses, reflects, and shares the best ways to invest in our children, families, teachers, and community. Because after all, we know they are the heartbeat of any successful program.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Action! The way to get started is to quit talking about it and begin doing. That's a quote from Walt Disney. Well, folks, it's time to quit dreaming and start dazzling. If you've ever wished your teacher meet and greet could be more engaging and unforgettable, you're in the right place. In today's episode, we'll turn that vision into reality with a presentation that's guaranteed to wow your parents and set the stage for an amazing school year. In today's episode, we'll talk about everything from gathering content to common do's and don'ts, what actionable tips you can take. So let's get right into it. Number 1, you've got to gather content. So you're going to collect high quality photos, engaging bios, and unique facts about each teacher. Ensure that the content is polished and professionally presented. You want to make sure that it's personalized content because this helps parents and kids connect with teachers. And you want to use a form that is standardized so that all your submissions are the same. Request a high-resolution image and thoughtful bios. Now, an action tip I want to point out here is you want to use or design a standardized template for collecting all of your bios and your photos to ensure uniformity as you start to put your presentation together. Some common mistakes is you want to avoid blurry photos, inconsistent formatting, and incomplete information. And please, no selfies from in the bathroom. If you don't have headshots of your team, you can easily get one of the best phones that you have in the center because most people have pretty high quality phones that have pretty high quality cameras, and you can take photos yourself. Now, there's a couple really fun ideas I have here. One, you could take photos of the teachers instead of just, the plain background and the teacher just standing there smiling. You could do pictures on the playground. You could do pictures at community businesses that support your center. You can do pictures of the teachers basically showing either a nonprofit agency that they support or they get behind, or you could do something with their hobbies, like a teacher holding, a tennis racket, like fun things that show their personalities. So don't make it boring. Make it where people are interested and engaged. Of course, make it professional as well, but, have a little fun. And again, think about your center's culture. Now, once you have all of these things together, you have to start to think about designing your presentation. So use tools like PowerPoint, Canva, or iMovie to create sleek, visually appealing presentations. You want to include your teachers' photos, their names, their roles, and brief descriptions. You want to create a visually engaging presentation that keeps attention and makes a memorable impact. So you can do this by using clean layouts and consistent branding. Make sure you use your school colors and add your logo in this presentation at the beginning and the end, wherever it makes sense, but make sure that it's branded. And add subtle animation and background music so that it isn't overpowering. You can certainly make it dramatic when you need to in terms of transition in the actual presentation, but just be thoughtful on how you use that. Ensure that each slide or video segment is uncluttered and visually appealing. Overloading slides with text or using inconsistent fonts and colors makes it messy and it doesn't look like a good design. The next thing you want to do is, now that you've designed that presentation, you want to add some interactive elements. You can include interactive features such as clickable links to teachers' profiles. You can add pop-up fun facts or brief quizzes. But interactive elements enhance engagement and retention. And you could do this by utilizing digital tools to embed interactive features and ensure that they work smoothly. I know when I make presentations, I love to embed YouTube videos. I really like that. I do that a lot when I'm creating presentations for my team when we do our strategic planning meetings. So you can do, things like that, embed something in that makes it fun and engaging. Common mistakes is don't overcomplicate features. Don't make it overcomplicated. Features that don't, you have to go to several different places, or make sure that you don't encounter any technical difficulties. So try everything out before you launch it off to parents. And preparing for presentation for the display. So choose an effective display method, whether you're going to use a projector, whether you're going to use a monitor or tablets. Test the setup to ensure optimal visibility. Proper display affects how well the presentation is received. And you're going to put a lot of love and work behind this. You want to make sure that you don't lose people during the presentation. So test out different options in advance and then select the one that best fits your venue and your audience. Now, you want to have some backup options ready in case of technical problems. So I'm going to share a little story with you. If anybody has any children that dance in dance competitions. So we had a dance studio for probably about 4 or 5 years called ASM. And when we would do dance competitions back then, this is before music was streaming, you would bring your music on a CD. I can't tell you how many times CDs ended up skipping, whether the DJ put his thumbprint on the CD or it got scratched during transportation or it just got worn out, right? So we became, as dancers, very accustomed to having backup in case when they tested, it doesn't work. But also our dancers were trained to, if there was a technical difficulty, you keep dancing, you keep performing. So it's really good to make sure you have backup options ready to go and that you and your team know what to do if something happens. Some common mistakes are poor placement of display equipment and failing to test setups before you have 100 people surrounded by this big screen. So make sure you do all the things, all the checks to make sure that this doesn't happen to you. You want to schedule and think about the timing. So schedule the presentation at a strategic time to maximize viewership. Consider placing it at the beginning or during a break. The beginning can kick something off and the break can keep people interested and re-engage them in what's going on during your orientation. Effective timing ensures that the presentation reaches the most people. Plan it as a key part of the event, schedule and promote it in advance. Make a big deal about it. Some actionable tips that you can do is clearly include the presentation time in the event agenda and remind attendees. Some common mistakes are overloading the schedule or failing to communicate the timing effectively. And again, you don't want that to happen, especially if your team is really excited about this aspect of your orientation, which they probably will be because it's about them. And so, most of the time it's about the center or the culture or the children or the families, which rightfully so it should be. But this is your teacher's time to shine. And so as a leader of your program, you want to make sure, if you're proud of your team, I know I am, I want to give them that spotlight. So step number 6 is you're going to collect feedback and make adjustments. Gather feedback from parents on the presentation by using surveys, comment cards, or just informal discussions to collect insights on its effectiveness. Because This feedback can really help you refine future presentations. Use the feedback form to collect specific input on the content, on the design, and the delivery. So some actionable tips you want to take here is you want to act on that feedback to continuously improve future presentations. Now, you could use this feedback for your next year's meet and greet teacher show, or you can just use it on future presentations that you do throughout the year. What did parents like about it? What didn't they like about it? And some common mistakes are just ignoring the feedback or failing to make making the necessary improvements. Sometimes we get caught up in our feelings and you put in a lot of work. And so, you might get one, negative, I didn't like XYZ, and you might get 20 feedbacks that say they loved it, right? It's okay to go to that one and see what they didn't like about it. And was it valid? And was it something that you can improve to make it a presentation that everybody will like next year? So here are my takeaways for you. Make sure that you craft a polished and engaging presentation by collecting high quality content, designing with consistency. Make sure that you enhance the experience with interactive features and ensure optimal display and timing. I'll share one other story with you about that, actually. This is more of not at work, but at a family event. So my editor, Derek, who is out on paternity leave, so exciting, they just recently had their baby. But during their baby shower, he had put together a wonderful slideshow to show everybody at the baby shower. And he's a videographer. So he, did an exceptional job with music and all the things that, made you invoke feeling and cry of tears of joy and excitement. They had this beautiful venue and it was in an atrium. And by the time it was time to show the video, it was too bright in the place, in the room. So he had to end up emailing it to everybody and sending it to everybody, which stunk. It was a beautifully visually put together presentation, but the lighting in the room did not allow it to go as planned. So think about lighting, especially if you're using a presentation on a white wall or projector. Think about, are you able to dim the lights? So that's just a fun fact. That could happen to anyone, even a professional videographer. And lastly, gather and act on feedback to refine future presentations and better connect with your families. So if you're loving these tips and you want to keep that inspiration flowing, buy me a cup of tea. Hit that support the show link. Your support helps us continue delivering daily tips and insights to elevate your childcare business and make a big impact in your community. So don't forget to subscribe, support, and share the love. And as always, have a great day.
Well, all the cute little kiddos have been picked up and it's time to go home. And that'll do it for another episode of the Childcare Director's Chair. Please leave a review so Erica knows the information is helping you to manage and improve your childcare centers. Remember to subscribe to get the latest episode from Erica's Childcare Director's Chair.